Alright, this question says graph the function f of x equals e to the negative 2x. State the y-intercept, the asymptote, the domain, the range, and whether the function is increasing or decreasing. So this is another question that you can place right into your calculator. You would place it into the y equals. So go to y equals and put in e to the negative 2x. Now your paper does not give you graph paper, so I suggest you do this on a separate sheet of paper. Alright, so come up with some xy values that you can use. Unfortunately, your calculator has a lot of decimals, so you may want to just pick the decimals that you would be able to graph on this paper. So the only ones that I could probably do are -1 and 7.389. So I'm only going to have about 2 points, but that's not going to stop me from being able to graph it. So I'll go to 0, 1, and -1 and 7.3. Now remember, all exponentials have an asymptote. So we are going to continue this exponential graph all the way to the right, meaning that we do have an asymptote. So always draw a dotted line where your asymptote would be. Since that lies right on the x-axis, that asymptote is labeled as y equals 0. So our asymptote answer is y equals 0. And we know this is the asymptote because the graph is getting very, very close to 0, but it never touches it. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, so it is at 1. Or you can put 0, 1. Doesn't matter. The domain is all of your values from left to right. So as we go to the left, the values increase. As we go to the right, the values increase. So from left to right, the values all increase. So our domain would be from -infinity to +infinity. The range, as I go down and up, the lowest value gets really close to 0. And the highest value, there is none. It goes to infinity. So my range goes from 0 to infinity. Make sure that you have a parenthesis, no bracket. It never touches 0. It never hits 0. It gets close to it. So you should have a parenthesis. And the last thing is this increasing or decreasing? Well, the graph starts high, and then it gets lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. So because that happens, this graph is decreasing. The negative here in my exponential tells me that it's decreasing. But that's only for an e function. If it's a regular function where there's a base of 2, the negative would not mean that it's decreasing. Or it could be. We never know. You got to see the picture.